So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this down, give a little bit of an introduction for both fighters, then look at their record. Then I'm going to give an argument for both fighters on why I think either will win. And then I'm going to give my final verdict as to what I think is going to happen. So starting with Wilder, 6'7", 83-inch reach, has fought anywhere between 214 to 238, was a lot lighter in his earlier career, and then that 238 is that last Fury fight where he really tried to bulk up, and he's orthodox, really long and ferocious punches, but he has knocked some people out on a little bit more of just a straight right, but usually pretty long and snappy. And then you have Zhang at 6'6", 80-inch reach, is anywhere from 256, I'd say, in more of the middle of his career, then has gone up to about 270 in those Joe Joyce fights, and then even was as heavy as 291.6 in his last fight. He is a southpaw, really short and stiff punches coming from Zhang, and that's stiff as in hard or rigid. And in terms of what I think that will come in on Saturday or even the weigh-in the night before, Wilder still has looked pretty thin in his last few fights, but I'd say he's probably about maybe just 5 or 10 pounds heavier or about the same weight. Zhang, on the other hand, pretty much the same, maybe just 5 or 10 pounds lighter. And then of course you have Wilder, who was the former WBC champion and had 10 successful title defenses, obviously known for his shocking knockout power, really different than other heavyweights. And then you have Zhang, who's really looking to make a name for himself, and he can finish you at any moment as well, is really quick to land with his punches despite being so big, and he often holds a pretty high guard throughout the fight. Looking at that recent activity, they've both had some wins and losses recently. Looking at their records, you have Wilder, who is 43-3-1 with 42 knockouts, and then you have Zhang 26-2-1 with 21 knockouts. So my arguments for both fighters, I'm going to start off with Wilder. Regardless of both their size and style, he's shown he's capable of hurting anyone, even to the likes of someone like Tyson Fury. Obviously, comparing to Zhang, he's definitely knocked out guys of his stature, and sometimes with Wilder, it's really just a question of when he's gonna land, not if, because you can outbox him for the majority of the fight and then he can just come back with that equalizer and take you out. Zhang is 41, which is a little concerning since he's going to have to withstand Wilder's shots in order to win, and Zhang is really not the technical fighter that Parker is, which could definitely benefit Wilder in this fight since he has the higher amounts of power between the two. And we also have seen that Zhang's pace can sometimes slow down towards the end of the fight, so if Wilder can survive and land some big punches, he could possibly tire Zhang out enough to finish him. Wilder has shown that he is able to withstand that power for 12 rounds, has scored several late knockouts and knockdowns, and even though he's coming off a loss, he still has shown that he has that tremendous power in his back pocket. Looking at the fight before Parker and that fight following the Fury trilogy, he did defeat Helenius in pretty devastating fashion, knocking him out early. And I'd say also in comparison, Zhang has never faced anyone like Wilder, has really never gone up with someone with the power that Wilder has. But now I'm going to flip the script, going to give a little bit of an argument for why I think Zhang could win. Looking at his resume, he's never been knocked out. Wilder has been technically knocked out twice, and also Wilder has struggled with Luis Ortiz, who was also a southpaw. In that first fight, Ortiz hurt Wilder. Wilder was able to survive the round, got saved by the bell, and came back to finish Ortiz. And then I'd say even the second fight, Ortiz was outboxing him until that very late knockout. And then of course you have Zhang, who's a southpaw. Him coming from the left side, I think, is really going to cause Wilder a lot of trouble. And I would say that Zhang has faced a power-oriented fighter by beating Joe Joyce twice. Both of those were by pretty devastating knockouts. And as far as a power puncher, I'd say Zhang is extremely accurate. And since his punches are really short and quick, he is really able to land fairly often. And his fists are like bricks due to that incredible size behind them. So now giving my verdict, what I think is actually going to happen, I think you are going to see a knockout by Zhang. I think this is going to happen in the middle of the fight. And why I think Zhang is the clear winner here, Zhang did lose to Parker like Wilder, but Zhang, when he lost, it was a split decision, and in that fight he dropped Parker twice, opposed to Wilder, who lost not only a unanimous decision but also was the one being hurt several times in that fight. Zhang's other loss recently to Hrgovic, Zhang did drop Hrgovic and also had Hrgovic hurt at several parts. And in terms of just their styles, I think Zhang is really a nightmare of a matchup for Wilder. I'd say Wilder, his big knockouts are usually when he's getting fully extended. Zhang is really the type of fighter to walk you down all throughout the fight. He's gonna keep it close. He's not gonna allow Wilder to throw from a distance, and those short punches I think will get the better of Wilder. So that's really what I think for this. So there you go.